Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4, and in this occasion, we will be presenting about the security and defense of North Korea. Let me introduce my team.
My name is Isna Perwira Akbar.
My name is Khalid Abdillah Anwata.
My name is Najla Sabilah Iskandar.
And my name is Prida Liani.
And I'm Gevira Nur Fatimah.
And I'm Naila Katrisandia.
Next slide. Okay, so North Korea is a highly militarized, ranking among the most militarized nations globally. According to the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, North Korea military as the primary and crucial element in North Korean society, serving as a means to address social, economic, and political issues. The bellicose military stance exemplified by that ideology, coupled with the progress achieved by North Korea in nuclear armaments and missile capabilities in recent years, under the leadership of President Kim Jong-un, has undoubtedly elevated it from a local menace to peace and stability to a global one. North Korea military has conducted a total of 6 nuclear tests, specifically in the years 2006, 2009, 2013, twice in 2016, and once in 2017. Following the breakdown of the six-party nuclear talks in 2009, North Korea recommends its nuclear facilities responsible for generating fissile material used in the production of nuclear weapons. The U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency has additionally stated that North Korea has achieved the successful development of a nuclear weapon that is miniaturized or compact enough to be affixed to long-range ballistic missiles. Next.
Okay, so from historical background, here are some events that transpire and become the factor of how North Korean security and defense are today. Firstly, of course, there's the Korean separation in 15th of August 1945, when Japan conceded and lose the World War II. Korea was separated into two separate entities, namely South Korean and North Korean. And 3 years after that, in 1948, the so-called Kim Dynasty began. The separation, of course, between the North Korean and South Korean created an animosity between them, and because they both believe that they are the rightful government to the Korean Peninsula. Secondly, there is the Korean War in 1950. This war broke out, as I mentioned, because North Korea and South Korea claims to be the rightful government to the Korean Peninsula. This war started when North Korean soldiers marched and invaded the South Korean land. While the war itself lasted for 3 years, it ended in armistice and not in peace treaty. Because of this armistice, both can still keep their weapon, and because of that, North Korean believe that in the future there will be another war between them and South Korea. This future, the so-called future war of them, forced them to instill the use of self-reliance or Jusche, and the military force or Songun policies. Third is, of course, the development of nuclear military. In the late 20th century, North Korea began on investing on nuclear technology. And whilst there are sanctions from other nations and diplomatic effort to stop North Korea from developing nuclear, North Korea still insists to this day to using nuclear technology and weapons. And lastly, of course, the leadership succession. The Kim dynasty, which ran for 3 generations, firstly from Kim Il Sung, then to his son Kim Jong Il, and now to the current president of North Korea, Kim Jong Un, still maintain the same policies and idea of self-reliance and military force. Because of that, the military and defense of North Korea has begun developing since their first leader, Kim Il Sung. I think that is all.
Okay. Next is power difference between the old North Korea, current North Korea. So since Kim Il Sung's 1975, 1995, that North Korean political structure has changed. Current power dynamics emphasize party institutionalism and formalizations, especially in the military. Analysis believe Kim Jong Un's recent turnover of key military generals tightens the party's grip over the military and eliminates corruption. The party instead now dominate, unlike in the past when the military did. Recent reference to North Korea's surge of power have evolved from party army state to party state army, implying a rethinking of priorities in general. North Korea's power dynamic have shifted toward the party institutionalizations and formalizations towards the sets and away from the military, and reform is part of Kim Jong-un economics modernization and power consolidation. So the example of the differences is in leadership style is Kim Il-sung is charismatic leadership, centralized power. And Kim Jong-un is modernization and image management, consolidation power tool, and the military strategy. Kim Il-sung have conventional military forces, and the Kim Jong-un have nuclear and missile advancement strategic deterrence. Okay, next.
So the case study about the security and defense North Korea is a complex topic because it involves several aspects, one of which is the country military capabilities, regional relations, and international diplomacy. The first is the existence of North Korea own military capabilities, which have made significant progress in military capabilities, namely in developing ballistic missiles and weapons of mass destruction (WMDs). North Korea has demonstrated various missile systems, include Taepodong Min-1 and Taepodong Min-2, and is actively involved in the deployment of SCUD missiles to other countries. The security situation in East Asia has become unstable with North Korea military capabilities and is a major threat to surrounding neighbors, especially South Korea and Japan. And here the United States plays an important role in maintaining regional security with North Korea to guard against various threats. And the United States also use a ballistic missile defense system deployment strategy to deter North Korea aggression. However, the North Korea regime ability to develop and deploy nuclear weapons has complicated the deterrence landscape. In diplomacy and international engagement, the international community has also tried various diplomatic means to engage with North Korea and address its security concerns. The Sunshine policy of South Korean President Kim Dae-jung aimed to improve relations with North Korea through economic and cultural exchange. And here the United States was involved in overcoming diplomacy in the 1994 agreed framework to address North Korean nuclear program. In this regard, the security situation in North Korea remains unstable and uncertain as the country leaders is to be unpredictable and the potential for conflict is worrying. North Korea continue military development, especially its nuclear program, continue to pose a major threat to regional stability. That's the study case security and defense North Korea.
Okay, so in South Korean foreign policy, in their foreign policy, realism served as the foundation for the North Korean foreign policy. And it's quite expected to find that North Korea has a lengthy history of warfare and intertwined by their shared history. So South Korea and North Korea have been engaged in a long-standing conflict ever since the division of the Korean Peninsula into two separated countries. And in this tension has been further intensified by their strained relationship with the United States. And as a measure to safeguard its national interest by discreetly developing nuclear weapon. However, even even though they developing nuclear weapon, they not become a they didn't become a member of the UNESCO, MMF, AMF, and APEC, Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation, and even a non-proliferation treaty. As we know that NPT is several country that using nuclear in their countries. And South Korean foreign policy places a strong emphasis on diplomacy, utilizing nuclear weapon as a primary tool to establish and foster relationship with other nations. And furthermore, an analysis of Kim Jong-un's recent actions suggests that North Korea remains steadfast in its decision not to join the NPT. This is due to the belief that the benefits of remaining outside that treaty outweigh those of joining, and Kim Jong-un strategically viewed the NPT as a political tool to maintain his regime. Additionally, North Korea, with its communist and military-focused foundation, sees nuclear weapon as a means of defense, threatening its bargain power and leveraging political diplomacy to its advantage. And that's the foreign policy of North Korean.
Ngulang aja, nggak cukup, udah kurang dari 1 menit.
Iya, kurang itu.
Okay. The outcome of the North Korea defense and security. First, nuclear capability. North Korea has successfully developed and tested nuclear weapons basing in deterrent capabilities. And two, missile development. North Korea has made considerable progress in the missile technology, including intercontinental ballistic missile, and that can potentially reach the U.S. mainland. And three, military red line. North Korea maintains one of the largest standing armies in the world, with substantial investment in conventional force, including artillery, tanks, and submarines. And four, economic section and isolation. Despite in military advancement, North Korea faced economic sanction imposed by the international community. This section aimed to curb to nuclear and missile program, but also contribute to country economic hardship. And the last, internal stability. The region's focus on military strength helped maintain internal stability by consolidating power and supervising. This sense, the military first policy on Sogun ensure the loyalty of the Air Force to Kim Jong-un leadership. So that's all.
Okay, so the conclusion is North Korea has made significant progress in nuclear armaments and missile capabilities under President Kim Jong-un, elevating it from local menace to a global threat. The Kim dynasty, which began in 1948, has maintained its self-reliance and military-first policy despite sanctions and diplomatic efforts. North Korea's nuclear development began in 1990s to deter threats and maintain sovereignty. Despite facing severe economic sanctions, the country's military-first doctrine, known as Songun, ensures armed forces remain loyal to Kim Jong-un. The international community remains divided on how to deal with North Korea, with some advocating for sustained pressure and sanctions while others advocate for engagement and conversation. So that's all for our presentation today. Thank you so much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.